Running up the A-frame is easy to teach and great fun to do. But if you want your dog to learn the harder obstacles, you're going to have to teach him how to walk up the A-frame. Walking up the A-frame is where you are introduced to the balance step. A balance step is right front, right back, left back. This is the climbing technique that allows your dog to have stable footing on a continuous basis. Don't rush, and your dog will be safe on this and all the subsequent obstacles. Coming down, you'll be using a goat step. A goat step is front right, back right. Think of it as 1, 2, 4, 3. In a moment, you'll see Nugget try to use his front left foot to lead. I'll correct him to make sure he uses his front right foot.
Good boy.
On the narrow platform jump, be close to the platform so your dog is jumping up, not out. When stepping off the platform, get your dog's back legs close to the edge and step off slowly. The platform beneath the A-frame is very unstable. When your dog has 2 legs on there, stay. When you get to the other side, have your dog step onto the platform fully. Have him stay on it until it is stabilized. After it is stable, have him take 2 steps off, stabilize again, then walk off completely. The catwalk is the most sophisticated obstacle on level 1. It introduces different kinds of stays and turns at height. The first stay is a simple down stay in front of the incline. Be careful stepping over the gap and down stay over the gap. Make sure your dog has a good grip with his back legs on the parallel logs on the incline stay. On this first set of boards, Nugget misses the first step, but you want to hit every step and use a pattern step. Teaching the turnaround, you'll cross over and then come back as close to that back foot as possible. This keeps your dog in the center of the boards. Stepping onto the decline step is right foot first and then right back into a pattern step. On both the posts and the second set of flat boards, you'll continue with a pattern step. The second turn is a 3-leg turn again, this time without the crossover step. You'll return on the catwalk using a pattern step. Remember to keep your dog in the center of the obstacle. Returning on the flat boards, you want to touch every step. Nugget has trouble here, and I'm correcting both his front and his back foot. Then he goes into a pattern step. This 3-leg turn is exactly the way you want to teach it when your dog is new. Step to the right, cross over, step back to the center, step the right leg to the last board, and then step back as close to that back left leg as you can. On this day, Nugget was having trouble touching all the boards, so I'm actually pointing to the boards I want him to step on. Down your dog on the decline. Down your dog again when you get to the gap the second time. From there, you're simply walking your dog off the obstacle under the boards. Stay in the center and don't go fast. When learning the crocodile teeth, you want to make sure you step onto the rails very slowly. When you are first teaching your dog to do this, it is likely you'll have to hold him up while he's placing his right foot down. Once you are on the rails, you want your dog to walk very slowly. The more slowly he walks, the more control he'll have. The crocodile teeth is where you are going to first learn your basic footwork. The first step you're going to learn is the pattern step, which is back right, back left, front left, which you see Nugget doing here. Coming back, you'll be walking on the inside posts. It is here you will be introduced to the balance step for the first time. A balance step is front right foot, back right foot, back left foot. Your dog is not going to like doing this because he's probably left-handed. However, you need to teach it this way because the right foot is closer to you and easier to correct. On a low obstacle like the crocodile teeth, this isn't urgently important. However, when you get to higher obstacles, safety becomes an issue, so having access to his lead foot is going to be important. When you're crossing on the posts, you want your dog's right foot to be on the right side of the post and his left foot to be on the left side of the post. This is true for both the front and back feet. Nugget has a habit of allowing his front right foot to drift over to the left as he places it on the next post. If you watch carefully, you'll see me actually guiding his feet with his leash as he places it on the front post. Stepping onto both the platform and the beam, you'll be using balance step, so right foot first. Make sure your dog is well balanced on the platform before you step over to the beam. You want your dog to get in the habit of walking slowly across obstacles. If they have a tendency to rush, simply stay them in the middle of the obstacle. This will likely be the first beam your dog will attempt, so take your time. When jumping the hurdles, you want to sit your dog about 1.5 yards in front of the hurdle, in the center of the hurdles, with you next to him. Don't pull on his leash, and make sure he lands moving forward. The platform is higher, and you want to land on it, so jump a little later. Make sure he lands straight. When jumping onto the large blue pipe, make sure your dog jumps up, not out. If you're new to the obstacle course, you won't typically turn around on the large blue pipe. But if you are going to turn, make sure you do it very slowly. It's pattern step both ways, and Nugget's pacing is about right. Getting onto the guardrail is balance step. Once you're on the guardrail, you'll revert to a pattern step. You don't want your dog to rush across here, so make sure you stay him at least once. When you are teaching this, you'll need to be on the ground, moving each paw individually to help your dog get used to the rails. Stay your dog when you get to the end, and then off. Prior to jumping the low vertical wall, you want your dog to reach up as high as he can with both paws and stay for a moment. The jump itself needs to be under control and not a wild crash. Done correctly, it will sound like this. Stepping off the platform, you want to move slowly and in control. Notice how Nugget carries his back legs down rather than falls off. Stay your dog as he transitions to the beam. Walking across the beam is a pattern step. When doing the shaking board, you won't jump up as Nugget is doing, but rather you'll walk up the steps. The board is quite a bit less stable than it appears under Nugget. So when you're training this, you'll want to lean your leg against the board to stop it from vibrating. When you transition from the board to the platform, stay your dog until they're comfortable. You're going to step off the platform onto the board using a balance step. And remember to stay your dog until they're comfortable. Dogs going too fast across this board is most dogs' biggest problem. If you stay them, it'll slow them down. Nugget's having problems with this, so I'm putting my hand on his forehead to stop him. Stay. Step. Step. You'll step onto the platform using a balance step. Remember to stay them as they're making the transition.
Yep.
Coming down these stairs, you'll be using a goat step. That'll be front right, front left, back right. Think of it as 1, 2, 4, 3. You'll mount the teeter-totter using a balance step. That's front right, front left, back right, back left. When going up the teeter-totter, you'll continue using a balance step. When you get to the balance inflection point, stay your dog as the teeter-totter transitions from up to down. You'll walk down the teeter-totter using a pattern step. Stay your dog as he transitions from the teeter-totter to the ground. Approaching the telephone pole, you should use a pattern step and step on every log. Getting onto the pole, make sure your dog uses his back left leg first. When your dog first gets onto the pole, he's going to be nervous. You'll want to stay him to slow him down and get him more comfortable with the height. Notice how little pressure I'm putting on the lead. Tension on the lead will actually make it more difficult for your dog to balance as he walks across. The second half of this obstacle are the 4 logs. To walk from the platform down to the logs, you'll use a goat step. To step to the first log, it's balance step. Right front, right back, left back. Nugget is leaping to the second log. This is not the way you should teach it. Rather, you should jump off the log and crawl under it, as Nugget is doing here. To get onto the plank leading to the tire tunnel, you'll use a balance step. Going through the tunnel, you never want your dog to touch any of the tires. You'll stay your dog at each tire, 2 feet in front, 2 feet in back. When first learning, your dog is going to want to jump off the plank, through the tires, and onto the ground. Because of this, you're going to need to keep some tension on the leash when you're teaching it. When you get through the tires, stay your dog at the plank. Get your dog's front feet to the end of the plank, and then it's an easy off. To do the tree stump, you sit and stay before the jump, and make sure your dog lands facing forward. In slow motion, you see that Nugget actually grabs with his front paws and pulls himself up. Walking up the steps to the walk the plank is a pattern step. Walking across the beam is a pattern step as well. Stay your dog when you get to the center of the beam. After your dog stays, resume a pattern step to get to the stairs. Going down the stairs will be a goat step. Pause when you get to the narrow step here. If your dog can't pause on that narrow step, it means he's not on balance. The rest of the way down the stairs, you're going to be using a goat step. To gain the via ferrata, you'll use a pattern step. Similarly, to walk across the via ferrata, you'll use a pattern step. You can never have more than 1 foot on a block at a time. Coming back, you'll start by placing the front 2 paws on the first block. From there, you move the front 2 paws to the first posts. Next, you'll move your dog's front paws to the second posts. After the front feet are on the second post, you'll move the back feet down to the first post. Notice that the back feet go directly from the platform down to the first post. At this point in the summer, Nugget still was having trouble with this obstacle. So you'll see me perfecting his feet when they're not correctly placed on a post.
Good. Step. Good.
The front right foot establishes the position for the front left foot. So when you see me pointing at a post, I'm pointing at the outside edge of the post, which makes it easier for Nugget to see when he's looking down.
Good. Step. Good. Step.
Your leash work is extremely important on this obstacle. If you want your dog to lift his right foot, you have to put the weight of the dog on the left foot, so you pull to the left. In the same vein, if you want him to lift his left foot, you have to put the weight on the right, so you pull towards you on the right. As you and your dog get better with the leash, you'll actually be pulling at different angles to indicate the front foot or the back foot to your dog.
Good. Step.
Balance on the posts is quite difficult, especially after your dog has moved his front feet and he's in the extended position. Because of this, when I was first teaching Nugget, what I would do is spray the posts with water to give them more friction and allow him to stand a little more comfortably.
Step.
Coming back on the Via Ferrata is among the most difficult obstacles at Tops. In fact, it's probably the second most difficult obstacle to teach here. You'll be physically placing each paw on every post as he's first learning. This will go on for several weeks before he's comfortable enough to move his feet himself.
Good. Step.
When you're teaching obstacles, any obstacles really, but hard obstacles in particular, you want to talk to your dog to let him know how he's doing. This is what it sounds like when I'm doing it.
Good. Step. Good. Step. Good. Step up. Good. Good. Step. Good. Step. No. Step. Good. Very good. Step. Step up. Good. Good. Step. Good. Step. Very good.
Coming down the stairs at the end, you'll be using a goat step.
Go. Step. Go. Step. Go. Good boy. That was excellent.